Hello, welcome to the Renee Jones Empowerment Center and our virtual open house. For anybody not familiar with what we do, we're the Renee Jones Empowerment Center. We work with human trafficking victims, survivors, and sexual assault survivors. And today, we are excited to highlight all of our new programs and services. We initially already offered, we do group counseling, we do individual therapy, yoga, everything like that. But right now, today, we are specifically highlighting all of our new programs and services. So let's start with the medical clinic right here. Today, we are doing our unveiling, and we have Renee Jones herself. We've got some medical students and Mary.
We are so excited to share this very special moment with you about our opening of our medical clinic. I'd like to introduce our forensic nurse, Mary, and I'd like to introduce our two student coordinators from Case Western Reserve School of Medicine. We have Angelica and we have Hunter. So they are going to do the honor of cutting a ribbon, and we're going to be able to offer great services to the clients that we serve, as well as the populations that we serve at our outreach efforts. So, ladies. And I'd just like to tell you that as part of the clinic, what we're going to be doing is offering some very basic healthcare screenings for the clients we serve, because unfortunately a lot of the people we serve, they don't have health care. A lot of the people we meet in our outreach efforts don't have health care. So being able to offer screenings and different testing is our goal. Our long-term goal is to have physicians come in, and if we have physicians come in and volunteer their time, we'll be able to offer more services, and they can provide more supervision to the students that are serving. So we intend, the clinic is staffed to service, do all kind of tests, and we hope to have more people get involved. And we're very excited to share this. And this was made possible by the STASIC Realty Group. They're the ones that made this donation possible for the clinic. So without that donation, this would not have been possible. So we want to give honor to STASIC Realty Group for their donation to making the Renee Jones Empowerment Center have the ability to have a medical clinic.
Thank you very much. As Renee mentioned, we do street outreach, and it's called Project Red Cord Night Out. These are the bags we typically will take. We just expanded our travels to Summit County in Akron, and we do 4 neighborhoods around the Cleveland area. So we'll bring bags out like this. We've got the medical students out there to check blood pressure, things like that. We've got snacks, we've got socks, we have toiletries, toothbrushes. These are communities that are underserved, and we go to the streets to see them because there's a good chance they're not going to make it into our door. So we want to be out there exposing everybody to these resources to let them know that we are here for them. So next is our truth exhibit. Before this, we had our phase 1 of our traveling art exhibit that depicts human trafficking victims through their journey, their triggers, things like that. This is phase 2. It's called Truth Exhibit. And so let's go meet Keisha. Keisha is here. Keisha is our trauma-informed therapist and is going to tell you all about truth and how it started and what it does.
Hi, Tracy.
Hello.
Thank you for coming to visit with me.
Yes.
The Truth Exhibit was developed to actually speak to the public about human trafficking and how it impacts the lives of survivors. So truth actually is the stories of those survivors, and it tells just what it says, the truth about what their experiences are, how it has affected their past,
Yes.
their present, and their future, and ways in which to prevent other people from getting involved in human trafficking.
So there's 14 stories. Can you tell them a little bit about each photo that actually accompanies with their story?
Okay. So this first story is about a person who would like to get out of human trafficking, and it exposes the truth as to how this young lady was just entering into it, and this young lady was exiting exiting from the life or the underworld of human trafficking. This story is a story about a young lady who was sexually assaulted as a child and how that impacted her future. This story is about the traveling that occurs with human trafficking. Sometimes we think of human trafficking meaning you have to be in another country or a different world, or it means transporting. But sometimes the reality is that the victims are traveling from space to space. And this is an airline in which they were traveling, and you see it's in plain sight. So sometimes you could be standing right next to someone, you're going on vacation, and they're going to do a job.
Right.
So this is a nursing home facility where some seniors are making a purchase for sexual favors. And that's what you're seeing here. You see the money with the elderly man, and then you see another young lady who is transacting business there. So this picture is of a homeless youth who possibly ran away. And you'll hear more about his story, but survivor sex is one of the things that we know is happening with human trafficking, and this is what is happening. A man is approaching a young boy he's actually a teenager, approaching another teen and showing him how he might make some money and get some food for sexual favors.
And each of these written
Yes.
is the story from the survivor.
Exactly.
They wrote it out, and then the pictures are depicting that story
Exactly.
using models.
Using models. Some of them are combined in their descriptions, and it actually tells their stories. It's such a healing process. The exhibit is traveling from place to place to provide healing and information to those who are in the community. It empowers the survivor while educating the community.
It gives them a voice.
It gives them a voice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to hear from our board members here at Renee Jones Empowerment Center.
Human trafficking is a local problem, and it is growing in its danger for young people and its danger for women and men. And to not address it is to ignore some of the most human needs there are and some of the most painful human conditions that we can think of. And so we need to help victims of human trafficking become survivors of human trafficking. That's our goal.
The center is doing fabulous work on awareness, advocacy, and education, which is a big piece of it, not just supporting the victims and the survivors, but the services that the Renee Jones Empowerment Center are offering have just been increased. Counseling, certainly, now medical, just the growth that I've seen over the past 7 years. I can't imagine for the whole, 2 decades, what has happened. I was fortunate enough to be invited last Saturday to a retreat on a horse farm, and it was absolutely beautiful. But that's another thing that these women need, that kind of calm and peacefulness in their life.
And just to piggyback off of that, Renee has done some education, some training with police departments, also some education with hotels and truckers, because we know that human trafficking, can be affected in those areas as well. Because, if cops are arresting women for human trafficking, they are the victims. They're not so much as the perpetrators. That, Sister Cecilia goes into the jails, and then, she, focus on that area when the women go in jail, because we know they need help that way. So she's got all areas kind of working together to, make sure that these women are able to, come out of that world and get help. So I mean, she's really doing great things. That's all I can say.
All right, here we are. We are with Keisha and Mary here. This is our new Trapped game. It is designed for talking about human trafficking and safety for teens. And Keisha is going to tell us a little bit about its origin and the objective.
Well, the main objective of the game is to educate teens on how human trafficking works. Because we are passionate about making sure that not another teen gets trapped in human trafficking. So that's our main objective. We also know that the age of entry is 12 to 14 for our young youth. We also recognize that runaways who have been sexually molested as children, they are the ones who are most likely entering into this very easily. So the game Trapped that was developed by this center is focused on helping to solve the problem. So the first thing that happens in the game, each participant receives a label of warrior. We have 4 to 5 participants. They go through the game, the outer world, and in that outer world, they are challenged to get one of their loved ones out of the underworld, which Mary will tell you more. Nurse Mary will tell you more about what happens when they get in the underworld. We have a variety of items that are used during the game, and a lot of interesting, intriguing, sexually explicit information that is being divulged while they play the game. We anticipate thousands and more to be healed through the process. We also anticipate that some may be triggered. So we have a trigger warning here to make sure that everyone who is triggered receives some additional assistance to help them go through that process. Because as you know, we can never tell in this society where a person may be triggered and what they may be triggered by. So we're excited to offer this game not only to those in the United States, but those throughout the world.
Mary, can you tell us about what happens in the underworld?
Absolutely, thank you so much. These are our mannequins, as you can tell. In the underworld, when the loved one comes, when they are entered into the underworld, they remain trapped. And there are many reasons why they stay trapped. One of the reasons, drugs, alcohol, sex, violence, money, because they are on the track, which is right here, and the track is where the victims are being sex trafficked out of by his or her pimps. One of the things I wanted to show you over here to share is where you will find some of the victims on the track. The ads, the hotels, the strip club, the bars, porn, and nail salons. And then over on the other side, follow me right over here, you have the games, sports arena, casinos, truck stops, massage parlors, and road trips. So they are trapped there by their pimps, like I said, for a variety of reasons. The other thing I'd like to show you over here is here are some of the weapons that the pimps will use. A rope to strangle, they can also use their hands, but a rope to strangle, tie them up, a gun for obvious reasons, inject them with heroin. A lot of my patients that I had were addicted to heroin, and then there's cocaine that they will snort, another gun, and here you're gonna have the police cuffs and the police badges, because unfortunately sometimes victims can be trafficked by law enforcement as well. And then you have the money. The money is one of the biggest reasons why the pimp keeps the victim, or the loved one inside the game. And then of course the knife.
And Mary, these scenarios that are presented in the underworld are from your personal.
Yeah. The scenarios that were presented actually based from my personal experience as a sexual assault nurse examiner.
Wow, this is amazing. This is truly remarkable. And this will be at street outreaches.
Yeah.
We have street outreaches. It'll be at the Collingwood Resource Fairs, any place that we are out and educating and engaging the public on this. So this is the trafficking here.
This is the auction block. The victims or the loved ones are for sale. Each participant fills out a sign that says for sale because their loved one, who is trapped, is caught up in this situation.
Wow.
And the chain is for what would you say?
Oh, yeah, thank you so much. I was just gonna say that,
The loved one here and all the loved ones that are trapped in sex trafficking, they have certain tattoos that tell them they are branded. And some of the tattoos that I have seen is a home run, the family, which is on the back here. On this side, you'll see daddy, because daddy is the name of the pimp, and the pimp always says, you have to call me daddy. Inside of the wrist here is a barcode, and most of the time the barcode will have somehow the pimp's name in it and the phone number. And on this young gentleman over here, you have the home run, and you have the chain, because basically that's what sex trafficking is. You're chaining, the loved ones to this world of sex trafficking, and they are truly trapped, and they have to get out and break those chains, which is extremely important. And the mouth, I want to point the mouth out too. When the victim or loved one is being sex trafficked, they can't talk. They're not allowed to talk. That's the reason for the tape. Oh, sorry. That's for the reason for the tape over the mouth.
Wow.
And there's so many males that are involved in sex trafficking as well as females. We often think it's just females, but males are used as well.
This is going to be an amazing resource to have. And thank you so much for explaining and for all your hard work. Before we get to our last two programs, our board members would like to share a few words.
I would just like to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who has, got behind this this vision, this purpose, and supported us from whether it's a small one-time donation or continued funding. We appreciate you seeing what we're passionate about doing. We appreciate you supporting us, and we appreciate just helping us do what we've been called to do. We thank you for all of the years of support, all of your faithfulness, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
And know that this support is an investment in the future. It's an investment in the lives of the people that Renee and the center touch. And it's an investment in our community through advocating and promoting the quality of life for our community.
Thank you, Elaine. All right, so the next part I'm very excited to talk about is introducing our newest friends here at Renee Jones Empowerment Center, Puppet Pals. These are prevention pals. There we have Rashida, we've got Carlos, we've got Reggie, we've got Jade and Ashley. All right, guys, please tell us everything we can about these guys.
Well, PAL stands for Prevention, Awareness, Leaders in Safety. And Nurse Mary will give you a little information about our PALs.
Thank you, Keisha. The nice thing with the puppets that we have, we're going to be taking them out outreach. So we're going to be able to connect with the kids out there in an age-appropriate manner and teach them about their bodies. And some children are unfortunately sexually assaulted when they're young, and we're hoping with the puppets they will be able to open up to us a little bit and just keep them safe in their environment, whether they're at home or on the street or basically wherever.
Yeah, the really wonderful thing about these puppets is that the survivors that we work with and the youth ambassadors that we have here will be trained to work with these puppets, to really engage with the kids, utilize them as tools to help them stay safe, and look for signs and know what is happening around them. These are the puppet pals. They are the best. All right, thank you so much, you guys. And we're gonna go to look at some more stuff that we have going on at the center here. This is a multi-purpose area here. All the furnishings were made possible by John G. Johnson Construction, which is helped furnish this beautiful space that we have. So this is where a lot of the magic happens here at the center. So we can head down here. This is a wonderful place where people can sit, that they do journaling, and they can do, we have art therapy here. They can sit here and just hang out. We have a beautiful space right here that is for like just being recreational. You can sit and enjoy a magazine. There's yoga spaces, there's creative movement spaces. There's just a lot that can be done all through here, which is wonderful. And actually, let's come on into the boardroom. Renee here is going to talk to us a little bit about the global initiative. Renee, can you tell us about the global initiative?
Well, absolutely. I'm very excited to share with you about the global initiative. But first, I want to thank District 14 Kiwanis for making the technology possible for us to do this. The global initiative is for us to share our model with the world, basically. And we have put together a film to tell you information about what the global initiative will entail. So please enjoy this film. This is something that I've wanted to launch for many years, but we didn't have the technology. One of our highlight programs is the Project RJEC program, where we help victims and survivors of human trafficking.
Renee had this fabulous idea that people who needed resources weren't going to just walk through our door, and that a lot of areas are impoverished, or just many neighborhoods that don't know what resources are out there for them. Project RJEC Night Out started a few years ago. We have had several partnering organizations that have covered every area of necessities and resources they would need. So if it's food, if it's clothing, we have a medical clinic that will check blood pressure. The libraries have been there. We have churches that get involved. Narcan kits are also available. And if a person is addicted who wants to have detox, we can actually take them there that day. So there's something that's not usually out there that we are able to do.
So the new initiative is Project RJEC Goes Global, because we want to be able to help fight this crime all over the world. And we have created a model, our Project RJEC treatment model, that is very unique, offers a lot of service, and is very effective.
We are looking to define the scope of the project, developing various programs through online webinars and trainings to look at what we have done successfully from the last 12 years and see what has worked and what has not worked, and to help other organizations.
We want to be able to share that model and teach other nonprofits who work with victims and survivors how they can use this model.
I will be working with the legal advisors to develop the playbooks. The purpose of the playbook is to ensure quality and consistency of our educational programming.
The virtual classroom that we present here will also be seen on the screen. So it will connect us all from a global level. We'll learn from them, they will learn from us. It would be unfair for us not to go global because of the type of services we provide and what we see in clients being able to heal. The Unleash exhibit is a traveling photo exhibit, black and white, that depicts the stories of survivors. It actually shows the triggers that survivors have, and how they deal with those triggers is through the discussion and some other innovative activities that we engage them in. The human trafficking is more than a game. It's a new initiative that we have where survivors are learning how to teach other people about human trafficking prevention through games. So the game will be developed so that they will be able to go out, as well as here and through virtual reality, be able to educate others?
The work that I do with Renee Jones Empowerment Center, a lot of it is education. I go to various schools. I go all over, actually. I talk about sex trafficking, and it's very important. That's my big role there. The other big role, of course, is working with law enforcement, going on sting operations with them in the rescue and recovery of sex trafficking victims.
We are trauma informed. They come in as victims and they leave out as survivors.
The benefit of working with law enforcement is the whole medical triage thing, if you will. So when the victims come to us as a registered nurse and a forensic nurse, I can do a head-to-toe assessment, but the biggest thing is them seeing somebody there on the other side who really cares, who wants to help. You're not going to judge, and you just want to get them to a better place.
My ministry with the Renee Jones Center is out there as an advocate for women who have been rescued from human trafficking. Once I meet her, if she's comfortable having me as an advocate, then I can really walk with her along her journey.
For me, it's so gratifying, and it's having some humility too, if you will, and being able to reach these victims and just being able to talk to them and find out what's going on and what can I do to make it better.
I value them as very special creations of God, and creations that have been taken advantage of, abused, treated as less than human, but who have so many gifts and talents hidden inside of them and just need the support and the encouragement, and I will say the love and the compassion.
We're excited about using technology to make a difference, to connect with organizations all over the world to fight this crime.
So you're going to be able to reach other countries where sex trafficking is very, very high and where they might not have a task force in place, but you can always teach.
What you've heard here today, all the staff that you've met, that their individual roles and how important it is and how great it will be to share with everyone else to make a huge impact in our world.
We are so excited and happy that you attended our virtual open house. Thank you so much for tuning in to share all of these amazing programs and services that Renee Jones Empowerment Center has been working on. And if anybody out there is interested in learning more about these programs or would like to be involved to support us in any way, you can visit us at our website, www.rjecempower.org, or contact the center. You can make an appointment and you can come check out more about what we're doing, get involved, help with street outreach, anything like that. So we hope you enjoyed this tour. Thanks so much.